Right, so hello everyone. My name is ILikeBaguette or just Baguette, and today I'm going to uh, play run Trine 5, any percent with checkpoint skipping. I'm gonna get into what checkpoint skipping is pretty early in the run. So yeah, let's just start up the game. Obviously I'm gonna choose easy difficulty, and these cosmetic settings don't really matter. So I'm just gonna choose these ones. And we're gonna go as soon as the screen goes black. So, okay, after we skip the cutscene, we get to the first level. So basically in this game there are 3 characters that you can play as. There is Zoya the Thief, which is the one I'm controlling right now. There is Pontius the Knight, and there is Amadeus the Wizard. And each character has kind of their own abilities and specificities that they're good at. So here we get Zoya. She has a bow and she can shoot things at a distance. She has a grapple where she can basically grab onto certain rings and swing and do all sorts of stuff with it. And yeah, that's what we're gonna do for most of this level. Basically the first 3 levels of the game we just have one character, and then in every level after that we get all the 3 characters and we'll be able to switch during the level. So for this first level I want to grab as much experience as possible. Experience is those green little things that I'm getting, so there's a bit of routing involved with that. The reason I wanna get those experience points is to buy an ability later in the run. And so here I'm shooting arrows at random to try to hit something in the distance. It did not work, but it's always worth it to try. So we keep getting all this experience and go through the level. Now Zoya is actually like probably the worst character for speedrunning, because she doesn't have that many abilities that make her like go faster. I guess swinging is pretty nice, but it's only possible on certain rings. And here we're gonna do a pretty neat trick. Instead of doing the puzzle where we have to link both rings, we're just gonna jump onto the chain while holding on it and then release. So yeah, Zoya unfortunately is not the best for speedrunning because I do usually play as her like casually. I like playing as her kind of more, but yeah. I'm gonna see more Pontius and especially Amadeus. Amadeus is just kind of broken, we'll see that later. Just more fast puzzles so right here. There are times where we're forced to kind of wait, which is a bit unfortunate, but it's the first level, so yeah. And there's a funny glitch here. Oops, actually, let's try it. What? I actually got it, what? So basically sometimes you can levitate up like that these days. It's really inconsistent. It's really funny that I got it right now because I only get it like maybe a fifth of the time normally. And I haven't found a consistent setup for it. Alright, this is checkpoint skipping. And I'm gonna go back to the menu and go back in my game. And what it's gonna do is it will spawn me at a later checkpoint. I'm not sure why this happens, but yeah. It's doable on most levels in the game. Basically all levels except level 3, 6, 12, 16, 18, and level 19, which is the basically the last level before the boss fight. I usually don't get it. I mean, I've never gotten it myself, but another runner has managed to get it like a few times, but it's never consistent. We're currently trying to figure out what causes the skip to work or not. So yeah, we'll see if I get it during this run. Meanwhile, this is a little fight, so we can dash to go across the screen. Or we can also dash to kill these enemies in a single hit, basically. I want to kind of keep our dashes because there is a bit of a cooldown. So now, as I said, checkpoint skipping does not work on level 3, so we're just going to go into the level normally. And with Amadeus, there's a lot of tech that you can do. First example is gonna be summoning these boxes, and we'll use the box to make us go across horizontally or vertically. It is easier if you're on keyboard and mouse, but I'm just used to controller, so that's what I'm using for this run. So you can go across these large pools of water, for example, which here it's just water, it would just be slower to swim, but sometimes you just wanna cross a gap or something, and you can use a plank to go across, basically. And so yeah, Amadeus is pretty good for notably skipping a lot of puzzles. And he will get even better once we get the ability I mentioned earlier. Here we do a fun little trick with this sort of thing. I'm not sure how to call it. These vases can be a bit annoying if you... Sometimes they don't break if they fall like too softly, kind of. So you really have to throw them against the wall to make sure they break and you can get the XP. Yeah, I'm just gonna do a little detour through here. And now we're gonna get to this gap. Normally you'd have to use a plank to press the button back all the way to the left, but here you don't have to, you just throw a plank and walk across. Here I push the rock with the ball, so it doesn't slow down in this part, for example.
J'espère que ce serpent n'est là que pour le spa.
It's unfortunate.
Ah, la réception est juste là.
Alright, now we're gonna get to the first level. We'll have all 3 characters and we are going to checkpoint skip. So we can spawn later in the level. Oops. I'm still gonna do a little detour again to get some more EXP. Yeah, it's really important to get it at the beginning of the run. Later on we're not gonna do as many detours just to get EXP, thankfully. So one thing that you'll notice in this game is that if you die, normally you'd have to wait a bit before you respawn, but if you switch characters, the game doesn't really the game instantly spawns you back. So if you switch character quickly back and forth, you just instantly respawn. So sometimes it's worth it to take a death to... what am I doing? Worth it to take a death, like in this part we wanted to destroy some wooden things to allow us to go forward. Feed the hedgehog the carrot.
En raison de sa taille inhabituelle,
And
cet animal magique aime dévorer des carottes. Ses homologues
Yeah.
de plus petite taille se nourrissent.
another thing is that the invincibility frames are... It's like really long. I think it's like about 2 seconds or something. So you can actually, if you just die to, for example, if there's a wall of spikes that take really long, if you just die to the spikes and then go back, you can just traverse the whole part thanks to the invisibility frames. We do that, like, I think a few times throughout the end of the run. First proper fight where we try against these robot enemies. The basic one are pretty weak. You can just kill them using Pontius and just mashing the attack button. There are some flying enemies as well that you do need Zoya to shoot. And shoot them with an arrow.
Désemparé à la suite des révélations de
So yeah,
Dark
you
Aurore
kind of have
et
to
de
switch
Couronne,
between the characters for this fight.
Ceci risque de poser des problèmes.
We continue forward. We're going to use this this fireballs destroy our boxes. So that can be annoying sometimes. There are a few parts where it's a bit bothering. Not doing this in the right order. There we go. No. I wanted to check if I could get the ability, but unfortunately not. So yeah, basically each time each time you get 50 experience points, you get a new, like, kind of point to ability point, I guess, which you can use to buy abilities. But the experience points are only converted if you go to certain checkpoints.
Les chevaliers des champs.
Oh yeah, this is one of my least favorite parts. Because you don't have the abilities you need yet, we're forced to use this box to get up, and I mess it up.
désemparé à la suite des
This box is wooden, so it's very fragile. It can break very easily and it does not respawn. So this time I'm gonna actually go under the enemies so they don't mess with me and with my trick. So yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna push a plank against the button. So we're gonna get some height and use the box to get the remaining we need. This is the only way to get past this part at this point in the game. Unless you want to re-grind for those experience points, but I think it would take way too much time for what's worse. So here's another fight. Oops. But we do it pretty quickly thanks to Pontius. I need to switch to Zoya from time to time to get an arrow in. Zoya right now is not the best in fights, but when she gets her elemental arrows, she will get much better. So yeah,
Amadeus Pontius
and now
et
we
Zoya.
go into another level that does not have a checkpoint skip, which is level 6. And this is my least favorite level in the game for several reasons.
Les gens du coin ne risquent pas de nous agresser.
It's, in my opinion, it's very slow and tedious.
C'est bien le raccourci louche que prendrait un voleur.
And there's especially one big section with just Zoya in the middle
Aux rues principales.
that you can't really do much to get faster. There are a few puzzles that can be really annoying if you mess them up, because you have to redo them all over again. So yeah, I did not mention it, but I think pretty much every level from level 5 to 15, I think, has a little quest, sort of side quest that you can do. Or really, you have to do it on your first way through. It allows you to get a new ability with either one of the 3 characters. And these abilities are different from the one you get that you can buy with experience points. So yeah. But getting those mandatory abilities will unlock new optional abilities for you to
Zoya
buy.
avait remarqué un message à son attention laissé par ses associés.
So for example, here we're going to get an ability that allows those arrows to bounce off walls, which isn't like the best thing ever, but it's mandatory for a couple puzzles here and there. Again, shooting in front of me blindly so I can hit things from the distance. Now this is the puzzle that I was talking about. It's really long, it's also really easy to mess up. You have to basically make a pile of these 2 boxes, but sometimes if one of them is not correctly above the other, they will, like, the upper box falls down. I'll have to redo the whole puzzle over again,
C'est surprenant que ce
which
soit
is
pas arrivé
just
plus
not
tôt.
fun at all. Now I'm going to get this ability. Something I wanted to mention is, for a lot of levels, checkpoint skipping is gonna make it so that we don't actually see the quest that we have to do to get the ability. Alright, let's try this. Nah. Can actually do 2 jumps and avoid shoot a 3rd time. But so yeah, we're gonna skip a lot of this quest. We get the ability anyway at the end of the level, but there is one time that it's actually going to bother us. We have to get the abilities anyway. We have to get the ability like in the level itself to be able to progress. But we're gonna get to it when it becomes relevant. We solved this little puzzle, and now you saw I went on the ability buying screen. What I did is that I bought Windburst and Windburst Leap. So normally the Windburst is a thing when you can project objects around you with Amadeus. Oops.
J'ai entendu dire qu'Amadeus le magicien.
And Windburst Leap, you're supposed to be able to do a jump after doing the Windburst. Now I said supposed to because the developers kind of forgot to cap the number of jumps you can do after Windburst. So you can actually do 8 or something jumps in a row.
On la reconnaît à peine.
C'est grâce au pouvoir de Trine que nous avons protégé
So
ce
yeah,
roi.
it is a main trick that we use throughout the run. Now I said the developers forgot. They actually fixed it in like, I think the 3rd update or something.
Bizarre. Ça ne ressemble
But for a good
pas
while
du
you
tout
were
à
able
une
to
voie
skip like so many puzzles
doit
with
être
this
une erreur.
glitch with Amadeus' ability. So yeah, I'm playing on an older version, which is kind of mandatory because otherwise the run would take forever because you'd have to do all of these puzzles. Oh yeah, this is a big finally fight that we're just keeping thanks to the wind burst. We can jump over the truck and
Le château royal n'abritait plus
continue
ni
all the way to the end of the level.
Le château royal n'abritait plus ni roi ni reine depuis longtemps.
Alright, so we move on to the royal castle. So the wind burst doesn't allow you to skip literally everything. For normal hill, we need a bit more height. So we have to still use that plank to get us up. So yeah, it's not it doesn't like literally skip everything. It's just really convenient for many puzzles. And here we're gonna try to use the wind burst to throw this ball right into the area. So oftentimes it does that. Instead it goes over to the other room. I've not been able to get a proper throw like in forever. That's still a pretty fun trick you can do. Under the backup strat anyway if you miss. These enemies, which are like the weakest enemies in the game, besides the flying enemies, so what we can do is one-shot them with the box. But it doesn't work with the stronger enemies. While we're fighting these guys, we are going to use Pontius' shield to deflect these fireballs that are being thrown at us. And yeah, so we can get rid of the turrets a little faster.
Suivant les conseils.
Alright, let's move on to the
Suivant
tallest
les conseils
tower.
du seigneur Godric, nos 3 héros se dirigèrent vers la plus haute tour.
C'est une tour très
Oops,
élaborée.
wrong direction.
La bâtir a pris des années.
Comme pour l'escalader.
So as you can see, we now have a ball with Amadeus. That was the ability we were supposed to get in the previous level, the Royal Castle.
Ils ne peuvent pas nous vaincre.
And we got it because we finished the level.
Pontius.
I think the game just kind of checks something and gives you the ability anyway.
Les petits morceaux se sont unis pour faire un
Now here is,
C'est facile.
I think the first like main boss.
Admirez cette chose, elle essaie de nous tuer.
This boss has a few attacks. There are 3 that you're supposed to basically have you to hit him. And once you get 4 hits in, you can remove a third of his health. So the 3 main attacks are the one you saw at the beginning, where he throws bombs and you have to basically deflect them with Amadeus. He has this attack, where we use Zoya to basically kind of use the fire against him. Like basically we throw an arrow through the fire, so it gets on fire, and it allows us to hit him. And there's one last attack that we haven't seen yet, where he just quickly shoots at you. But this is this one. But it's so quick that basically anytime he's on the ground, I have Pontius with the shield ready to deflect it in case he uses that attack. Because otherwise you literally don't have time to react to it. And yeah, obviously he also has attacks that... Alright, that was really clean. With the fire you can actually hit him 3 times. But it's really hard. Most of the time I hit him 2 times with the fire.
Bonté divine.
Alright, now we get to the shortest level in the game.
Bonté divine, bonté divine.
Awesome. I'm gonna
With
jump in
checkpoint.
here and read some donations
Ouais.
that we got here
Pas de
real
problème.
quick. We have a donation, a $10 donation from Anonymous, and the comment is "Gotta go with Lola," and that is referring the Lola Bunny incentive poll for the Space Jam. So there's a poll to vote for Bugs Bunny, Lola Bunny, or LeBron James as the playable character.
Livré à eux-mêmes,
I've been the one saying let's get Bugs Bunny in there, and so this is $10 away from that. So I think we need to let's get some more donations in there and tip the scale in Bugs's favor. But anyways, I'll back over.
Évasion.
Alright.
Pas très évoqué.
So yeah, we skipped over the last level very quickly because we got instantly to the very last checkpoint and we just had like one gap to cross. And now I get to another level with no checkpoint skip, and this one is pretty long. But I do like it because there's
On est encore sur
a
Terre.
pretty good amount of strats that we to use.
C'est magnifique.
Here I'm going to use another strat that allows us to get pretty good amounts of height, which is basically you just throw an object up with Amadeus thanks to the wind burst again. And you grab onto it with Zoya, and so just to get like more height.
Étrange. Ces vaisseaux.
More height than the wind burst leap itself. It does have a few uses in this level and in level 16 as well.
Aucun plan ne ramènera notre vie.
L'Académie
I'll do a
astrale
quick
est
solve.
Nous n'avons pas d'amis.
Yeah, this level kind of introduces the water
Ces monstres ont capturé
underwater
des enfants.
mechanics,
Que peut-on y faire?
which basically have this oxygen power while you're underwater, but really have like more than enough time to to make it across all the underwater section in the game. Now I did use a consistent strat here. I can actually use like the strat I showed earlier with the object charge, but it's a bit inconsistent, so I decided to go for the strat where you use an upright plank and wind burst from here. From the little puzzle area, the solution is actually like kind of clever. I mean the solution we use at least, where we use the spikes to our advantage. Basically, the spikes can put an object in place, like a plank or a box. And thanks to a
On a déjà vu
plank
cette
in place and some physics shenanigans,
sous l'eau ici.
Mais
we
avec un cœur maudit.
C'était le bon vieux temps.
get this done really quickly. Oops. I have to bring this little shell thing up here, so we can go down. Yet another fight we're gonna skip. We can just solve the puzzle right away and not do the fight.
Je veux revenir dans mon spa.
This level also has some wind right here that should push us down, but the wind burst leap kind of prevent that. Alright, this part we have to light this barrel on fire to make this open up, and then we have to light another barrel on fire to open the other door. And now we're in a little elevator. There are some rats that are going to attack us. I usually just get rid of them with the Pharaoh. As you can see, it's really powerful because it does damage over time. So even if he doesn't kill them right away, you can switch to another enemy and and just let the damage over time do its thing. Now as you can see, there were rats earlier here, and now they aren't there anymore. Basically, they try. What I discovered recently is that I think they try to follow you in the water, but touching the water makes them instantly die. So I think it's because they don't have like any animations or anything underwater. But yeah, I think it's kind of funny that you don't have to deal with them. Anyway. So this fight I switched the strat a little bit. I used this spiky ball that's given to us at the beginning. And it does like half
Ça n'était pas au cursus de
damage
l'Académie.
equal to like half of the health of the enemies. So just if you use the ball to attack them like twice, it gets rid of them really quickly. Oops. Please walk, no. So yeah, you have to use this tentacle to break this thing. But unfortunately I kind of missed the cycle here, which is normally not that difficult to get, but yeah. So you can see I let the tentacle hit me for like a bunch of damage. I don't really care about it. As I said earlier, like if you die you can respawn really quickly and there's like not many consequences, at least in easy mode. I think like in normal and hard mode you have a limited amount of lives or something before you're forced to respawn at a checkpoint.
Quittant enfin les tunnels des contrebandiers.
But in easy you're not limited to
Quittant
the
enfin les
amount of
tunnels des
deaths you can
contrebandiers,
take.
nos héros tombèrent sur une
So it's really not a big deal. Alright. This is the level I was alluding to earlier. Basically, we can use checkpoint skipping to unlock a later checkpoint, but we can't actually do the part after that without using Pontius's clone, which is the mandatory ability you get in this level. So we're gonna play the level all the way up until we get Pontius's clone, and as soon as we get it, we can quit out to the map and just go back to the checkpoint we unlocked before, because it's like you don't just spawn to a later checkpoint, you actually like properly unlock it and you can go to it anytime. That's kind of convenient. Alright, this part somewhat inconsistent because of all the things that destroy your plank. The orange projectiles destroy your plank. The rat can destroy your plank. So yeah, just not the most fun part of the run. We do a little quick solve for this puzzle. And now we're going to get on this quest with just Pontius. This box can be a little annoying. Whoops. It's not super consistent. Sometimes, like in this part, the box doesn't fall down properly on the where it's supposed to, so you have to redo the scene. So yeah. Otherwise, we do a bit of solo Pontius. We're using this thing where you can throw our sword. This is actually the first mandatory ability we're supposed to get in level 5. Alright, I can actually go back to the map right now and go back to the checkpoint we were to earlier, which was checkpoint 13. So we do actually skip a bit of the level. Basically all the rest of Pontius's side quest and the following checkpoints we skipped. We're going to some more fire arrows with Zoya. Namely this guy, the guy in the purple robes. He can teleport and he spawns these rat skeletons. So killing the rat skeletons, it's not worth it, it just loses time. And it does nothing because they will keep spawning as long as the necromancer is up. But the good thing is that you can
s'il te plaît.
put the necromancer on fire and we'll keep using health, even if we like
C'est la faute
dealing with the big guy.
Que Margaret le pense.
I just call him the big guy, the big rat enemy that's also there and he's had a bunch of health. Oops. This part is a bit annoying. We have to deal with the wind burst cooldown. To do a few wind burst slips in a row. I guess we could use that object charge I used earlier. I'm just not always used to using it.
Ah, enfin sorti des tunnels.
And now we're going to get to the forest level,
J'ai l'impression que
which would be a pretty nice change of scenery, but
Au cours de leur
we're
expédition,
actually going to skip to the last checkpoint yet again.
Dans les tunnels oubliés, nos héros avaient
And all we have to do is use a plank here to help us reach up. And after that, we're going to use a ball to open this door. I'm going to ignore the enemies again. There are going to be more fights towards the very end of the run. But for most of the run, we just skip them.
Nos héros espéraient obtenir de l'aide à l'observatoire astral ou un moyen d'affronter leurs
Oops. I don't know why I
Nos
keep...
héros espéraient obtenir
I usually charge to the right here because that's what you have to do for most levels.
Quelqu'un aime jardiner.
But here you have to go to the left, unfortunately. One thing I didn't mention is that at the start of every level you start with Amadeus. Oops, it was unfortunate. But we want to start with Pontius since we want to charge usually right away.
des autres.
C'est une représentation fidèle.
Non, elle...
So I just switch characters during the black screen till the level. Oh, and this is the second boss fight, which is pretty fun to do. Basically, she has 4 phases, and for the first 3 phases, she's going to have this electric thing on top of her head that we have to first activate, and then we're going to use. I use a ball here. It works with any object that Amadeus can spawn. But I use the ball because it's the most convenient one for the first 3 phases. And we're redirecting the electricity towards her. So the second phase that I just did right here, we were supposed to press both buttons at once. I think the game wants you to freeze one of the buttons, but we can just press one with Zoya and another with one of her arrows. So here we're going to use Zoya's fire arrows to melt the ice, but her own fire projectile can also melt the ice, so we can redirect them with Pontius with his shield. Now we get to the fourth phase, as you can see she had enough, so she's just throws the electric thing away. But unfortunately for her, she's going to use her hands to do something with the floor, I guess, and we can destroy her hands. Also fun thing, you can, like this fire, you can just roll over with a ball if you want. Now here, instead of using the platforms that the game wants us to use, I just wind burst all the way up to the hand, which is, I think, a little bit faster. Alright,
Barbara,
pretty
magicienne de l'observatoire.
complex boss fight.
Barbara, une
lot of
magicienne de
things to remember.
l'observatoire astral, indiqua à nos héros où ils devaient.
Autumn Woods, another level that we're going to skip almost completely.
Baston passe à travers ces marais.
Pourvu qu'on ne se noie pas.
Les renards sont venus nous
I'm going to do something really quick.
saluer.
Do a little ability chance, it's gonna be for the next level.
Un dernier obstacle se dressait entre nous et
Kind of unfortunate that we skip bottom woods, by the way. I do like this level. And this is the Petrified Marches, which is... It normally has a few complex strats that we do without checkpoint skipping, but here we're going to use another very useful ability, which is object locking. Wind busting does not work to reach this checkpoint all the way up there. Basically, what object locking does is that it freezes the rotation of an object. So you can put it, for example, right here, and it won't fall off. But I'm going to use Wind Bust Leap again for the following levels, so unfortunately I do. We don't get this for very long, but it will come back eventually.
Pontius avait hâte de revoir le bastion.
Yeah. Object locking, this is not the final time that we remember it.
Je me rappelle.
Alright, this is the Bastion of Hope, my favorite level. It has lots of diverse tricks. Example, this catapult, normally we would have to push this all the way to the left and then use the lever, but instead we can
Ma sœur a eu le bateau. Et je suis resté seul.
stop pushing to the left and push the right for a tiny bit. And yeah. Here we're using some wind burst shenanigans. Wind burst affects like all physics objects, I think, not just like the boxes and planks and whatever. And it can actually, like, it's so powerful that it can push these little things through the wall. It can even push like that big thing that would normally it would have to get out of the way
Dommage qu'il soit en ruine.
Ces brutes ont fait une
through a puzzle.
impression sur le petit Pontius.
Assez ruminé.
Alright, this is more object charging here.
Ces soldats de plomb.
I'm going to use it twice in a row because these things are like that like the distance is too big for it to work with a simple wind burst. So that's why we use object charging again. As you know, we have to change strats every once in a while. Use the clone to deflect this cannonball. And coming up is the big skip. I'm just going to jump in the void to trigger the spiky ball. So we're going to do this little shenanigan, and we can just levitate ourselves
Intéressant petit atelier.
all the way up to the
De l'aéronef.
the other side.
C'est mieux que
Normally the game prevents us from lifting objects that we're standing on. So yeah. But if we kind of impale one of the objects with a spike ball, I'm not sure what the correct word is for that. We can levitate the spike ball and it will bring the object with it. Now there are lots more tricks that I didn't get to cover, but this one is pretty fun. We activate the checkpoint through the floor and we basically don't have to deal with the fight or the puzzle at all.
Ça me fait mal, mais
And we're already getting to the boss fight. This boss has 3 main phases, and then the 4th phase is just hitting him over and over. So the first phase we just get the cannonball and we use it. But the second phase, here we have to use a vegetable that just fell, and we have to turn it to stone thanks to the boss's raise. Basically the lore behind this boss is that this thing stole a magician powers, and this magician has the power to turn things to stone, or people to stone, I guess. But yeah, so his raise just turns the vegetable to stone, and we can use that as a cannonball. What? Normally this this cannonball is on fire, so you first have to remove the fire. And then use it as a cannonball. Unfortunately, the boss was in the wrong position. You can only hit him if he's standing on the middle or on the right. I mean, hit him with a cannonball, obviously. And yeah, the fourth phase just hitting him over and over until he dies. Sometimes he will spawn another fire cannonball and it will kill him instantly. But I don't have that luck on this run.
Armé de ses pouvoirs de voyance,
Alright, we're getting to
armé
the
de ses pouvoirs
airship
de
level.
voyance, Barbara découvrira splendide
We're going to
aéronef
checkpoint skip and it is gonna spawn us inside of this quest with the Metas. So we're soon going to get a new ability that is basically never used at all. Oops. We're a little solve here. So yeah, this ability allows us to reverse the gravity of summoned objects like blanks, boxes, and balls, and it's only used right here. And I think like once or twice in the last few levels. So yeah, it has. You'd think having objects being able to float upwards would be good, but the game really works hard to make sure we don't abuse it and float upwards indefinitely. That's a bit unfortunate. So here we're seeing the first instance of me dying. And second instance right here, so we can get across gaps. Like that's where we would normally never be able to, but we can just cross thanks to the very generous invincibility frames. Also, we did a little thing earlier where I stomped with Pontius and got through the little hatch. Normally you'd not be able to... I don't think it's intended. Normally you have to do a puzzle to open the hatch, but somehow stomping with Pontius works. And the puzzle I just did was mostly memorization. It's not that hard once you remember it, but for a while I could not get myself to learn it. Alright, we're gonna get rid of these enemies with this electric thing. It's electric generator which instantly kills them. I'm not sure why we heard Amadeus dying, but as long as I got through, that's the main thing. Getting stuck in my own object. Oops. We'll have to hold this button, unfortunately. Unfortunately, we're not gonna be able to object shard right here, because this thing is kind of a bit complex. But thankfully we do get across it eventually. It's probably the most finicky part of the run. Or at least of this level. This annoying rat. I'm going to simply get rid of him for now because he annoys me so much. He always stands in the way of this puzzle. Basically what you have to do is use the rope to make sure the crystal wagon stays up to the right and then push the gears in place.
Nos héros se lancèrent dans une...
But if the big rat is standing in between, you can't do this, and if the big rat stands onto the gears, it acts just as if you were standing onto the gears, which means that you can't move them with the Amadeus. And I don't know why, this is really annoying. Normally I just try to avoid the rat, but here I was just not in a position where it would have been viable. What I just did is use Pontius's clone to throw a sword and grab onto it with Zoya, and then use another ability of Zoya that I haven't had the time to mention, which is unfortunate because the ability is really pretty useful actually for the speedrun. This is the fox rope, which allows you to teleport to any ring that you grabbed onto. So yeah, this sounds really useful. Obviously we have to find the rings. But yeah, when it's used, it's actually like really nice. And Pontius' sword is something you can grab onto with Zoya for some reason.
Et toutes ces épreuves seront derrière nous.
C'est ça.
Alright, so normally these balls, you see them a bit earlier, or I guess we saw them already in level 7. Well, yeah, the trick is that you can't levitate them with Amadeus.
Je dirais qu'on a environ une chance sur deux que ça fonctionne.
So you have to redirect them with either Pontius's like charge or with Zoya's rope. So a few puzzle with them in the last 2 levels. Fox rope again, so that we don't have to wait for... Oh. Yeah, we are going back to object locking and I don't have enough EXP to get it right now. This is weird. But thankfully we can just use it this year. Right, the trick with this ball is that they also, when they're on fire, they can power up mechanism at a distance or within a certain range. Alright, I need this back. It was a bit unfortunate that I didn't have enough XP to get
Je déteste la
object locking, but it is what it is. We are going towards this part, which has the enemies right here with a shield that, which is another ability you haven't had the time to see unfortunately, which is the light shield. The light shield dissipates the not the light, yeah, it's the light shield, sorry. Where Pontius' shield emits rays of light, and this allows you to dissipate the shield of enemies. Oh. Right. I'm gonna get rid of this guy first. Unfortunately, because I don't have enough XP to get both abilities at once, I need to switch back and forth between them. Thankfully, the game is pretty generous, so it allows you to don't really limit how many times you want to learn or unlearn an ability. But yeah, what I mentioned with the enemies with the shield is that they can be very annoying to do, because if you don't hit them like for enough damage, they will regenerate their shield, and you have to dissipate it again, which takes like a few seconds at least. You can see me struggling to switch between the abilities. Normally at this part in the run I do have all the XP I need. I don't know why I don't have it. And here there's a bit of juggling to make sure that you still have the good enough cooldown. Alright, we're going to just push this guy in the void. Makes this thing, and hopefully it's so stressful. No. That's so unfair. Let me dash, jump, and then... Yeah, finally. Normally I do have both objects looking on Windburst Sleep at this point.
Julius, Lucius et Agnès.
Alright, now I'm going to try the most RNG
Seul le
checkpoint
palais
skip ever.
mécanique- Seul le palais
I don't
mécanique se
expect this
dressait
to work.
désormais entre nos trois héros et Julius, Lucius et Agnès.
It didn't work. What a surprise. Unfortunately, you have to do the entire level, which is also one of the longest levels in the game, unfortunately. Oops. Yeah, we're working to find a consistent setup for the Clockwork Palace checkpoint skip. Until then, we do have to do a bunch more puzzles, a bunch more fights against these guys with the shields, who are extremely annoying. As you can see, I did not hit him fast enough for some reason. I'm not sure why, so he just has a tiny bit of health remaining, and I need to dissipate his shield all over again. What? More invincibility frame. Abusing, I guess. There are a few spots in this level that we use that. We're going to use the shield to destroy this guy really quickly. This puzzle is one of the more complicated ones in the game. Fortunately, I have it memorized. And yeah, unfortunately, there's no way you can skip it. Like so many steps of this thing. You have to put the ball in the right place, put a plank in the right place, make it levitate upwards, and use the ropes. Yeah. It's gonna be a bit of a downtime here. If there are any donations to read, this would be a great time.
I do not, but I have a few other things I can read, so I appreciate it. Obviously, we're all gathered here for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention and to raise money and awareness. They have been established since 1987. The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention is a voluntary health organization that gives those affected by suicide a nationwide community empowered by research, education, and advocacy to take action against the leading cause of death. They are dedicated to saving lives and bringing hope to those affected by suicide and those who experience loss. With that, we have a bunch of polls and incentives to kind of entice you to donate. The big prize is the Switch 2 bundle. You have to donate a minimum of $100 across the 2 days, which day 1 and day 2 today. With that being said, we also have some polls running. We have one that will wrap up here at the end of this run that will impact what Mario outfit we have in the Super Mario Odyssey run that is coming up next. You can vote for Mario wearing boxers or just a traditional Mario outfit. So take that as you want. And then, we also have another goal to save the dog in Resident Evil 4 on the run that comes later today. If you want to see that, we have to hit a threshold. And then we also have another threshold to hit that would make the Golem dance in the hunting grounds. That's another donation goal that we have to reach to make that happen. And then there's a bunch of other polls to dictate character choices in Space Jam. Do we defend Leon and Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City? There's a bunch of other prizes and raffles to incentivize you to donate, such as the magnificent Chester Bennington drawing that was so kindly donated by Beck Beware. So if you're able to give, it goes to an amazing cause. Yeah, I'll hand it back over to you.
All right, thank you for that intermission. As you can see, I'm struggling a lot right now with this skip. Basically, I just want to skip this long puzzle that you would have to do with Pontius' light shield. We would have to light up all of these little stars here, and then there are more things to do. You can skip all of this with a well-timed charge, then wind burst, then you can charge again, and you do need all the extra height you need. So both the platform and 2 planks locked to each other. Oops. This part is always tricky because of these things that rotates in probably the worst spot possible. But thankfully I just barely reached that platform in time.
Il y a des vaisseaux là.
Tant mieux. On pourra rentrer à la maison sans avoir à faire le grand saut.
I just have to cross this giant obstacle course. That's not the most fun thing ever, but... And now we get to a cool little puzzle.
Ne me dis
pas que tu doutes de nous.
Je sais qu'on peut
There's a pretty specific solution to go fast enough.
mais ça ne rend pas les
Again, this is another puzzle that you pretty much have to memorize.
choses absolument horribles.
It's not that
Seulement
difficult.
Trine était là. Elle pourrait sauver mes enfants. Elle était si gentille et intelligente. Elle saurait quoi faire.
Here's another spot where I should really implement object charging. But I don't because I'm so used to
C'est moi.
my usual strats.
De la chasse au trophée. Ce seigneur est une véritable...
Alright, this is
Les animaux me semblent
Parce qu'on a combattu la version
very tricky
mécanique de
part.
chaque animal.
Ils volent plus que les vies des magiciens. pour
Let
créer
me
ces machines.
lock this object. Basically, as I said, the trick with this ball is that you can't lift it with amateurs, but with this whole structure around it,
Aurore et Godric.
Nous allons...
we can lift it up this.
La vraie Trine était là. Elle saurait
Now,
quoi faire.
not having to do this puzzle is pretty nice, but that's not the main reason why I do this. The main reason is this part. Normally this is not the cooler part. I call it the washing machine. And so, yeah, and there are lots of things, lasers, water, everything. And it lasts on for a really long time and there's no way you can skip it. So, yeah, we do want to not have to do it if possible, and this trick wasn't found by me, it was found by TMA2, another runner in the community. And it's, yeah, you do all of these shenanigans to be able to solve the puzzle faster than you're supposed to. You're bringing this ball instead of using the one that spawns after the washing machine sequence. And you save, I think, a good 3-4 minutes by doing it. And look, we're already to the final boss.
À l'heure la plus grave.
This boss, there's not much skill involved, unfortunately. It's kind of an anticlimactic ending. There is a bit of luck involved. All of his attacks, I mean, I should say all of their attacks, because there's Godric and Lady Sunny. All of their attacks, you can attack them back, except one, which is this missile attack. There's nothing you can do, so I just destroy the missile with boxes to pass time. So yeah, basically this fight is divided in between like 3 phases with Godric, using his different attacks and the patterns are randomized. And then you have Lady Sun using one big attack, which usually doesn't take much time once you know what to do. So yeah, now we'll be out onto the second Godric phase. She introduces these saw attacks, which are really not that difficult to dodge. Just do a jump and that's it. And so this attack, which is by far the best, because basically the thing stays for an extremely long time, like several seconds, and it allows you to hit him for really long time. Right, the second Sunny attack, if I can choose the right character, and again, why is it with the marathon run that I fail the easiest attack in the boss fight? I have to do is get out of the way and then shoot an arrow at the big cannon. And it's also kind of long, unfortunately. Alright. Back to the random patterns. And I was lucky because I did not get the missile on phase 2. So... let's hope that it does not bring... Oh, just right as I say this. Brings up the missile attack. The best I've gotten is one missile attack. I've never gotten him to like not do it. And yeah, I just continue hitting him even though I'm losing health. It doesn't really matter, you lose a bit of time by respawning and have to walk back to it, but yeah. And then you have this auto-scroller sequence, which is always the same. So I just kind of, you know, do things. I'm gonna make sure I'm at full health with everyone. But what happened? I mean, you can also protect yourself with a box if you want. Oh no, he's about to destroy us. Oh, okay. Just if I can grab the right thing, use the ball to destroy this thing, and then you just hit the heart a few times, and it's gonna be time. And yeah, this was Trine 5. I hope you enjoy watching this showcase. Thank you for the GG. And shout outs to TMA2 for he basically discovered the whole checkpoint skipping, as well as I said the last skip in the, not really the last one, but the one in the final level where it skips the auto scroll sequence. And yeah, the community for Trade 5 is still quite small. I mean, it's mostly me and TMA2 because I don't know why people haven't gotten much interest in the game, but at least speedrunning the game. That's what I meant. But yeah, it is pretty fun to learn. There are room for improvement, of course, but yeah, this was Trine 5 and it's gonna be the end for my run. Good luck to all the future, like not future, but the next runners, and yeah. See you later.